How will my divorce impact my finances? That's one of the most common questions that I get asked when working with a couple or an individual who is currently or recently has gone through a divorce. My name is Cade, Bekanich, founder of Park Lane Financial Group, and in this video, we're going to discuss what happens to your finances, particularly your retirement account, when you're the spouse that has walked away with their retirement account in a divorce. Oftentimes in a divorce, one spouse ends up with a retirement account, one spouse might end up with a house. Unfortunately, sometimes those aren't necessarily equal from a tax perspective, but that's not this video. When it comes to managing your finances and understanding how to prepare for your retirement, especially as a recently divorced person, there are a few different paths you can take when it comes to how and where to manage your retirement account. Being on the side of the divorce that's walked away with more retirement assets than the other person, or at least more than you've personally had prior to the divorce, the first step is do nothing. These might seem like new fun assets that you can use to go buy a house, buy a nicer, newer car, or spend carelessly or even freely on life. But in reality, that's the worst thing that you could do, especially when considering your long-term financial stability. You're divorced, you're free, you're freshly on the market, and you want to live life to the fullest. But what do you actually need to do to secure your financial future? So the next step is to take a look at your finances. What kind of savings do you have outside of retirement accounts? What is your personal income? What are your personal expenses? And what other retirement assets do you have in the first place? Regardless of how much you have, you should try and grow your retirement account to the maximum, of course, falling in line with your risk tolerance as much as possible. This simply means don't take unnecessary risk or risk that you're not comfortable with to try and grow the account quicker or larger than you would have otherwise. I often see this intention with people who are fearful that they won't be able to maintain their current lifestyle, the one that they experienced during marriage, after their divorce, or even during retirement. And it's official. You're going to be responsible for your own finances. And I understand that there might be alimony or child support payments involved. But the reality is, once that money is spent, it's spent. And you need to generate enough income to maintain the lifestyle that you want and to satisfy any additional expenses that you might incur along the way. This is why it's important to understand the proper allocation of your funds. It's important to have money in a retirement account designated for retirement, money in a savings or a money market account in order to satisfy any immediate expenses, money in an investment account outside of a retirement account that still has access to stock market growth and can be used to grow but aren't necessarily qualified funds. But without digging too deep into someone's financial plan, these are all topics that you should have on top of mind when discussing your new financial plan with your advisor. Okay, back on track. So whether you sell your home, maintain it, or do whatever you need to do for your personal living situation, you now have sole responsibility for all of your finances. This means paying for property tax, insurance, car payments, mortgages, and any other fixed or variable expenses that you might incur along the way. This is exactly why I emphasize the importance of having enough income to satisfy your expenses, even in addition to any alimony or child support payments. If you're not 100% confident in your ability to manage the retirement funds you've received in your divorce, you probably should talk with an advisor. A certified financial planner will help you to understand your goals, define your timeline, and to allocate funds appropriately based on your risk tolerance and when you need them. And don't forget, this retirement account, or IRA, which stands for Individual Retirement Account, probably won't be held in your 401k at work. So this means even though you have a retirement at your workplace, you're going to have an additional one that, again, possibly could be managed by an advisor outside of your workplace retirement account. So although they are additional assets, it is an additional responsibility on your end in another account that you're responsible for managing for your personal retirement plan. So without taking too much risk, spending unnecessarily, or making any decisions that are going to totally mess up your financial plan, I do recognize that your situation is unique. But from a general professional perspective, do your best to save as much as possible as soon as possible. By reevaluating your goals and considering your new circumstances, you're able to develop a completely new financial plan tailored to your new situation. Determine what you value most, what your intentions are, and make a plan to take you from point A to point B as quickly as possible. Again, my name is Cade Bekanich, certified financial planner, and if you or anyone you know could benefit from guidance in managing a retirement account that they've received through a divorce, click the link in the description below to schedule your first meeting today. See you again soon.